So you ask her, can I have a booklet on mammals? And she produces these beautiful booklets, right? Lovely, laminated, all the mammals. You can lay out all of these mammals. You're not surprised that there are cards associated with information. You could match them all up. Here's a control chart. You get the idea. It's beautifully done. What is going to happen in a primary class if this is there? They're just going to play with it. There is an interest to understand mammals, but it's not strong enough to overcome that. One child who's a child psychologist had her daughter. She's really worried about her daughter. But if you're a child psychologist, that's what you do. You worry about everybody, and especially your own child. Most kids give them Lego, they sort of make blocks, make buildings, stuff like that. Her daughter picked up the Lego pieces and had them talking. So we thought, oh, no, you've lost it. But anyway, I mean, the mum's lost it, not the daughter. So we've got in here a whole lot of ideas of one culture. So, for example, this could be Wales, I think. Or maybe it's a whole lot of different ones, because this is Italy. Italy, the dollar note, this is the dollar note, by the way, before they went to the euro. You might recognise this lady. Most Italians had no clue that Maria Montessori was on their most common bill. They had no understanding. She was there for a long time. What did you learn?
That I could vocalise what's happening in this classroom to Jenny, who's in the Montessori room.
Oh, yeah.
And that I knew where this book was.
Good. What did you tell her?
I told her that we are going on a journey through questioning. And that the questioning is the journey, and that we don't need to find an answer, because that's like the end point of a journey, but there's not going to be necessarily an end point to every journey.
Nice. And there that film keeps going through. Yes, read that for us.
Who am I? I am a lizard. I am found in the desert areas in Australia. I eat insects. I hiss loudly. I have a long, slender tail. My frill becomes a scary fan and I'm threatened. I'm so sorry, Mitch. I just gave you the look at it.
That was a look. That was
Such a look.
good. It's good. He's gone ready to play.
Yeah.
So actually, funnily enough, a lot of you guys are asking the question, who am I? And I happen to pick up these box of cards. And what's the first statement across the top?
Who am I?
Indeed. Go on.
Read it? Oh.
Yep.
I am an egg-laying mammal. I have a tail.
Egg-laying mammal, guys, gives us a clue.
It's not a reptile,
Is that better?
because it's a mammal.
It's a mammal.
Sorry. Oh, hang on, I'm missing.
I'm missing one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one. I have a tail like a beaver. I am only found in Australia. I live in streams and waterholes.
Yes.
My favourite foods are found underwater. I have a bill like a duck.
Talk about mixed up genetic. This is really cool, hey? All of the structures that we put in, all the classifications, all of them are wrong all of the time. They're good as. But there's always exceptions, and this is a significant exception, okay? Who am I? Extension activities for children. What are we going to ask Jasmine to do on this activity?
She could do heaps. Like the
Yeah.
foxes. She could make her own Who Am I?
That's it. That's
Oh,
right.
is that what you're
Okay,
going?
yeah. She could make her own because she's been studying as a student, and she literally studied one project, the entire practicum that you were there.
Yeah, we just moved her on to she moved herself on to Fox recently.
So can you sort of see, make your own cards. This is the deal. You don't want to stop at getting information in. Asking questions is much more fun. Do you know Top Trumps? Do you know this game?
Yeah.
It's a game. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is about, on my cards I've got a whole lot of features. And basically it's just a risk gambling game, but you make it fun by saying, I'm going to talk about the height of my animal, for example. Could be 6 foot, yours is 7 foot, and because yours is bigger, then you win. It's just a game, but it's really an excuse to get a whole lot of facts. My son, although Richard, my brother, doesn't believe in luck, Oscar is just always wins. I don't know. Always, all his life, he's always won. I'm not that interested about it, don't worry. Who am I? Ocean animals. Okay, again, Roberta will find all these animals for you. She sources them all. She puts them all these books together. It's fantastic. It's a really lovely experience. But just don't overdo these little games and bits and pieces. It's as if I can't learn unless I have my little box of stuff. And I don't want that approach, even though you're seeing lots of boxes of stuff. One of these things that I'm talking to will talk back to you, and you'll actually say, yeah, no, I want to do that. This is Europe. Find it on the map. This is Asia. Some matching cards, label it. How many hemispheres do we have on Earth? 4. Name each continent. Illustrate some of these lines on your map. What are longitude and latitude? You guys got all that? You know it. So yeah. Okay, so 6-year-olds, maybe 5, 6-year-olds, but it's in the primary curriculum anyway. It's not really high-level thinking. Over here, you might be interested in finding more about the history of man. Remember, these come up in timelines. You're welcome to look at that again. And here we have plants. This is a timeline of development of plants. If you don't know heaps about how plants reproduce, you might want to read that. This is all about geology. Jackie. Yellow is atmosphere here, this is the lithosphere, these are the pyrosphere, and this is the hydrosphere. And then within one of these you're going to find the volcanoes, if you're interested. This is my notes on botany, I think. This is my primary album. And this one is on zoology. And the other way. Somebody has created a story. I wonder what assignment this might have been. Montessori approach, story of a timeline, and has left a book. There's an option for you. The story of love, which this box is over there at the moment. You might be interested in working with some of the cards. Now these aren't the same cards exactly, although if I showed you one you'd recognise that, for example, the guys that we did here yesterday turned into an SRA. What a cool thing to do. What a lovely, lovely activity for kids to have pre-processed information that they just have to regurgitate. A little bit allergic to it, but if you like it, it's yours, you can do it. Here, the black timeline. If you're interested to find out what happens here, very, very exciting presentation that you can develop here. You've got, the black ribbon. Very, very cool. More timelines, January, February, let's see how they go. Timeline ribbon, there's all the information you need is in here. 1,000 beat chain, used as a timeline. Put 2,000 of these together, 2,016 of these together, and you can trace back all the historical events since the birth of Christ, if that's what you want to do. Have a look in there. Fundamental human needs we already looked at. You might consider that approach when you're doing your own story. Here, you've got to play with these guys. This is cool. This is chemistry. This is photosynthesis. This is just a whole lot of fun. This is all of the life. So this is arthropoda, the animal cell, the plant cell. If you weren't sure what a chloroplast is, this is where you're going to find out. Okay? And this, all the cards of the periodic table of elements. What is Mercury? What is the symbol for Mercury? But more importantly, why is it Hg? What is that about? And why is PO polonium? And who is it named after? And why? This is a nomenclature that probably helps you to understand the categories of life. Something I've just gone through speaks to you. Grab it, wrestle with it, understand it, and we're going to be a little late lunch today. Is that okay? Is about 12:30 going to work for everybody? Yeah. Yep. Let's present at 12:10. We've got half an hour to really know.